I'm Doug Gordon, and this is a quick preview of an ad-free bonus episode with advice columnist Dan Savage. Not to get all public radio membership drivey on you, but we really do depend on your support to produce the podcast. It helps us keep things going and growing so we can bring you the best interviews, stories, and commentary about the worldwide effort to push back against car dominance. Enlist today by visiting thewaroncars.org. You can click on Support Us, and it will take you to Patreon, where you can become a subscriber, starting at just $3 a month. As thanks, we will send you a handwritten note and stickers. Again, that's thewaroncars.org.
I've spent some time in LA, and I never thought I could live in LA because I don't know how to drive. And every time I was in LA, I would be driven to meetings, and it was miserable because you spend, an hour and 10 minutes getting to a meeting. I don't know. LA is ridiculous. It's a meeting-based economy, and all the places where you might have meetings are spread out. Like, why don't they all clump up? Why isn't HBO right next door to Hulu and right next door to Netflix? Because people run from meetings from one place to the other, spend all day in the car. Well, I was in LA for 3 months for a project, and I bought a bike, which I've done a few times. I buy a bike, and then 3 months later I sell it, and it's cheaper than renting the bike. And my producing partner would drive to the meeting and be mad that I wouldn't get in the car with him, and it would take him an hour to get there, and it would take me an hour to get there, but I had a lovely time.
Right.
And he crawled along miserable in traffic, and I had plotted my bike path through side streets as much as I could through LA and Beverly Hills and Santa Monica to get to HBO, and it was refreshing, even if it took the same amount of time. I was not depressed and angry like I would have been if I'd been in the car all day with him.
This is the thing I've noticed my last 2 LA trips is that actually things aren't that far apart, but they often, sometimes they are, but like often you just have like a 3-mile trip, and it's the most painful, dreadful car ride. But if it were a 3-mile bike ride, it would have been probably fine, except for the fact that there might not have been a safe way to do that bike ride. But
so long as you don't have to go to the valley, it's actually not so bad. I got cut off by a driver recently in Seattle who, when I rolled up next to him at the stop sign, was screaming at me, and they were in the wrong. I got cut off by a driver in LA who was in the wrong. Dude got out of the car and apologized to me, which has never happened in Seattle. And I was a really aggressive bicyclist when I was a teenager in Chicago. We used to have those big U-locks. And if a driver cut me off and it was like traffic where I knew I could just roll by them, I would break one of their windows with my U-lock driving by. Like, that's the cyclist I was. Wow. And I'm not that way anymore. I am very slow and very don't want to end up under the wheels of a car now. But I've never had I don't get in people's way when I ride in Seattle and I have people flipping me off. In LA, literally dude got out of a car to apologize to me.